You know, your friends that you have right now, you might not have from a year. They may be your enemies. So, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, the book even talks about this, as long as it wasn't to harm you or others, and you got to be careful about what you air out there, as long as that information doesn't involve someone else. But my information with truth is about me.
Yeah,
I'm an asshole. I'm an addict. I've got control issues. I get really angry when people drive in the left lane doing 50 miles an hour.
Oh my God! Chris, you ready?
Corn on the cob. This is not a public broadcasting network. There is not a tornado happening outside your house. However, this is the Talk Hard Podcast, and welcome back.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man.
We have a great show right here in New York studios, in my own studios in New York City.
That was probably the best lie for this podcast, because what I want to talk about, and if you want to know why we're talking about this, because we just recorded another podcast earlier, and it left on something that strikes, well, true to me, because it's the truth.
It's the truth, yo.
I want the truth, right? You can't handle the truth. Bullshit.
The truth at Talk Hard Podcast. Truth.
No, I want to talk more about this space, because you hit it, and then I'm gonna say it. Jess over here mentioned something a minute ago about what the truth coming from someone does to another human being.
The truth.
The truth.
The hard
TRUFTH. F. The truth.
It's like get it off the roof. You get your truth.
Like, there's something about when someone just flat out is honest about something that changes everything. So on a whole nother level. Like, I can smell bullshit from across the street. I used to do it all the time, so it's really easy to identify, and it bothers me now because I've come to this term of just like, it's just the truth.
So, coin the phrase, the truth hurts.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, right? And it's a great bumper sticker because the truth hurts. And then there's another coined phrase that the truth shall set you free.
Yeah, like, I want to know why does the truth hurt?
Well, because, okay, so we live in a society today that's just a soft society, right?
Okay, yep.
In the soft world that we live in today, which, look, I don't care if you're soft and if you like soft people around you and your circle needs to be soft. That's your deal. I don't give a shit. Me, I'm not a soft person. Regardless, I've tried. I bought into the whole hippie thing for a while. I grew my hair out. I lived in the 90s where we smoked a lot of weed, took a lot of acid, and we loved each other, right?
Yep.
I am just not a soft person, right? And I don't appreciate people handing me the truth in a soft fashion. I don't. I need the truth to be raw. I need it to be hard. I need it to punch me in the face sometimes. So, honesty without compassion is brutality.
Yep.
Right? So, while I need people to be honest with me, and while I made a little meme post the other day, I don't know what day it was, but I made a post about, you know, when somebody's real and they're honest with you, a lot of people take that as being aggressive or brutal when, you know, because we live in a society where so many people are just not that way with you. Everybody wants to fluff you up. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of fluffers out here, don't we, Chris Cobb?
Yep. Yeah.
He's like, I've been a fluffer. I'm a fluffer.
Whew.
But it's true.
Chris, stop sweating. Okay.
Everybody say what's up to Chris Corn on the Cob over there on the Mad Keys doing mad things. I spoke last week in the show that we just did last week.
Yeah.
I spoke last week about a guy that I looked up to that had his whole life together. I deemed him to have his shit together. Mm-hmm. His life manageable. He was assertive in the way he talked. He had a successful life. Everything was going good. This is the facade, right? Mm-hmm. And I looked up to it. I wouldn't say idolized it, but I forget the word, but I admired it, mm-hmm. right? And then I heard him speak, and he started talking about struggles. His personal struggles, how he had to fight this demon inside his mind constantly, every day, all day, and how he did this, and how some lows in his life that I never thought, and this is what inspires you to want to do this show, is that's when I really got to see the real him, and that's when I really got to relate to the guy, and I really admired him tenfold.
Yeah, but now let's put
that.
two together, because
Okay.
this is what's amazing to me is when he walked in the room and the way that he was carrying himself and the energy that he had.
Energy, yes.
He just had an energy, a presence. People walk in the room and you can just feel their presence. And your first thought was, that dude's got his shit together, right?
That dude's got his shit together, and I like it.
Okay.
I like
And
it.
I think that he was able to carry himself there because all of those things that he has voiced out loud, he's already understandable. He gets it. Like, he has an understanding with his character defects, with his flaws, and when they say the truth hurts, I say the truth hurts the first time.
Okay.
The truth hurts until you can't accept it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it hurts the first time that you hear it because you're like, damn, you're right. Like, yeah. And then as soon as you can grasp onto it, it doesn't hurt as much anymore. And then it sets you free.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have anything on me, because I've already told everybody everything and there is no dirt to hide from and there is nothing to worry about and this is who I am, like it or love it or don't or whatever, here it is. I'm out in the open. Eminem, his
8
movie
Mile.
was based around it, right?
8
Like,
Mile, yeah.
I'm going to take your ability to pull things out that I haven't said yet because then it makes me look shady. So I'm just going to give it to the world right now.
What else
And
you got to say about me?
here I am. Like, yep,
Yeah.
love it. So there's something about that whole dynamic when someone can just get honest with themselves, which I was forced to do, real tough, like I alpha male, had businesses, done my thing, and then was literally broken all the way down to nothing. And then was like, no, I still had that ego part of me in the beginning. Was like, this won't last long. I'll be back on top in a minute.
I got this.
I got this. It ain't no thing. I don't need meetings. I don't need recovery. As soon as I got there, I was like, see, this is why I don't do it because that guy's dealing drugs and this is happening over there and it ain't going to work for me and blah, 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 right?
Looking for the differences.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was always just like, the excuse master would come out, right? Like I had too much ego. And then all of a sudden it just had to hit me. I was like, damn, I do have a problem.
Well, I feel like everything that we see in other people that pisses us off, that aggravates us, that annoys us, most of the time it's something that we have seen in ourselves. It's that man in the mirror concept.
Inward reflection leads to outward perception all the time.
It does. It does, right? Nothing pisses me off more than when one of my people are doing something that I do that I don't like about myself.
You know what's even worse is that, and somebody else posted this, and I think I've talked about it before, stop expecting everybody else to be you.
God,
That one is so hard for me because I'm like, don't you
Yeah.
get it? Like, no, that can't be what you really are because that's not what I would do. So there's got to be something wrong here.
And then it pisses you off.
Definitely pisses
I
me
would
off.
have reacted this way. I would have done it this way.
Right.
I would have did that. And that's expecting everyone to live up to your standards, your who you are.
Right. But once I got into terms with that, like, I got to understand that you see everything through a different lens. Everything in your life, like sometimes it is so hard for me to like grasp because all I have is my perception.
Yeah.
That it's very tough to like align with someone. And then there are people like me and you. It just was conversation from minute one. It was awkward for about 3 seconds because we're two tattooed dudes in the gym. I don't know if we should fight or. So
Oh, that's the truth right now.
that's what no, but I mean seriously though, like there's just this thing about like I wasn't off to impress you. I was just like, hey dude, what's up? Like, love what you're doing, keep it going.
Yeah.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. But I've never been like a starstruck guy. Like it's like you're a human.
Yeah.
And I see you that way, but at the same time, when someone else that's not like me does something, I'm like, you're hiding something.
Well, I think that's what connection is with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what connection is with the girl that you meet, and I believe that you can fall in love with somebody just like that.
Absolutely.
And I believe that's friendships. You fall in love with. I don't care what you want to call it. It's love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. It's just that connection of energies, right? But there's also those people that we have in our life that we just wish would get on board.
Yeah.
With how we think and how we perceive things and how we view things. And if, and at the end of the day, like when we have those people in our lives and we're constantly trying to orchestrate them and coordinate them to do things how we think they should, first off, it's a sickness in us. Second off, there comes a time where you just got to realize that, and you said this was hard for you, like you got to let people do their own thing. And if that pisses you off to be around that person, then you got to not be around that person.
It was hard because I couldn't grasp that concept, right? Like in my head, you had to act a certain way to be a certain way because that's how I acted and that's what I got out of it. So when someone else wouldn't act that way, you know, like my wife's love language is different than mine. And so we've had this conversation before where I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. You know, like
all that. None of that makes sense.
You know, she would say something and then she'd be like, yeah, but that's what it looks like for you. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like it took a minute. Then it hit me.
I used to say, facts are just facts. That's so
such right,
an asshole
for sure. That same thing. So I'm like, it took a second, and then it hit me. I was like, damn, like I come from California, I come from a different lifestyle, I come from all these different things, and then you come out here to the Midwest where people are different and life is different and things are simpler and people are more genuine and like my wife has a genuine relationship with my mom, and at first I was just like, And then you could just see the connection. I'm like, I got to let this go. Like, as soon as I was able to let go of the fact that everybody isn't me and I had to give myself the truth, it's like everything changes in the actual world itself. Like, fears that were there aren't there anymore. Thoughts you used to have don't exist anymore. Like, as soon as you can just come to terms with the truth about who you are, the space that you live in, and where you want to go.
And the people in it.
And the people that are around it. Whether it be someone go or keep them around or what that looks like.
We talk about that in Recovery. We talk about that in Big Book. There's a story in the Big Book that basically, you know, not verbatim, but there's a story in Big Book about the actor, right? And the director of the show, right? It's a show, and he is trying to orchestrate the other actors and what they should be doing and how should they be doing and their demeanors and all this stuff and the paintings on the wall and the lighting and doing all this stuff. And then he's trying to orchestrate how the people would come in and sit down, the audience, and all these different things he's trying to control, which, you know, that's where I'm at a lot. I do that a lot, and I know a lot of us do. I do that. That's what I want to. This is the show, and if everything would go the way that I see it, right, it will come off perfectly. But that's a draining job to have.
It's a draining job to have, and it limits the ability for real greatness to exist.
It does, because it's a draining job to have, and it will get me nowhere but drunk, right? It will make me irritable, restless, and discontent for very long. I will get drunk, and I will get high, and I will stick a needle in my arm, right? But not only is it a draining job to have, but when you can actually just allow people to do their thing, their jobs, and come off with their visions, and find a way to mingle all of that, not only is it beautiful the end result, beautiful thing, it's an awesome thing with other perspectives and other points of views and all these things, but you are not irritable, restless, and discontent because you have got to that fifth level, right? You have a new dimension.
Yep.
Where you are actually okay, this is going to be okay. Regardless. I could do all this shit and run around like a madman with a chicken with his head cut off and try to orchestrate and coordinate all this and just go crazy. Or I can sit back and know that I have the right team in place, know that I have the right people, and just let it happen. And it's a freedom, one of which I cannot describe to you, I cannot articulate, but when you taste freedom of just...
I'm telling you, there's so
like,
much.
Why have
freedom.
I ever lived that way? Right?
The amount of freedom and truth in the space that I live in so many different ways, where there will be people that have even asked for like awkward questions, and I'll give them the answer, and they're just like, you know, like they can be joking about it, and I'll say something serious about it, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's what we were talking about."
Right.
Like there was another podcast about this dude that, and as awkward as it is, what he was talking about was being bisexual, and this is fully tatted up. Hardcore skater, engaged to a model, and they are swingers. Mm-hmm. And he likes bisexual. He's like, sometimes I like a dude, sometimes. And the way that he was just like, I don't care what you say.
Right.
There was no room to judge that dude because he could give a flying rat's ass less. And it was just like,
that's good. That's a.
There's this thing in my head where I'm like, man, it's kind of awkward to watch you because I think this is cool.
Right.
You know, because I don't understand it, and I couldn't live in that space myself. But you are so comfortable in the world that you sit in, And I mean, he's talking about sex parties and the first time he tried anal and what the dude look. I'm like, damn, dude, like put it all out there. And it was
just
I couldn't stop watching it.
well, and that goes back to the original conversation that we started this with. When that guy walked in the room to give his story, his confidence and his "I don't give a shit" demeanor just made him that more attractive to me. And I don't mean any other way than attract, like, you know, like attracts like. And he was that more attractive to me that he was confident, and he had come to terms and he had accepted all these horrible things that he has done, first off, and that he currently goes through in and out the ebbs and flows of his life.
See, it's funny that you just said that because that's exactly what we were talking about. So we were all standing around having a conversation amongst the guys, and dude walks in and someone looks over at him and he's with a less than attractive woman. And, you know, the guys are talking about it, and I'm like, what? I'd f*** him. And he kind of looked at me like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, no, like, if I were attracted to men, that is a good-looking dude.
Right.
I would definitely f*** him.
Chris, help me out here.
Like, what I'm saying, like,
welcome to Talk Hard Podcast.
Like, I'm not going to go do it. Why can't we just say something about it?
Is talking hard.
2.5 bombs in 8 seconds.
It's just like, no, but, who cares?
Right. And when you can have that type of, like, that's what I admire that in any person in the world, when they're that confident. I don't know if confidence is the right word, but they're that okay with who they are.
I finally gotten comfortable enough in my own skin that it was
you
just,
you can't destroy me.
Right.
Anything your judgments, your words, nothing can harm me, and that is a truly great place to live. You know, just like it doesn't matter. But, you know, Gary Vee talks about like not giving an F about what anybody thinks. And that's a beautiful bumper sticker too, but it's hard. Like, we care. A lot of us care what other people say and they think, and oh God, what you know, I said, oh, I wonder what she thought of me, man. I wonder what he thought of me. Oh man, why did I say that? You know, just stuff like that. Like, it's such a admirable place to live when you just like, look, I'm here, and I'm honest about me, and maybe you should get that way too.
And you should definitely be that. Like, again, I've said this before. I'm gonna say it again. I implore people to just try it.
It's hard.
And sit in it for a minute.
It's hard.
Like, dump your feelings out. That's why the 4-step is so, when you do it right.
Yeah.
It's like an emotional dump, right? It's like, I'm finally going to let all this off my plate. I'm going to share this with someone else, and I'm not going to worry about what happens.
A clean, clear conscience is something that is not, it's underrated. It's one of the most important things to have. Like, you know, when me and Jess first got in a relationship, we literally spent time in bed hours and hours and hours just like vomiting
just
on each other.
Saying what was on the mind.
Just vomiting all
without
the
any
shit that
fear in the world.
You know what I mean?
Well, not without any fear in the world, but there's just a comfort in it. And that's the thing, is like, and I'm saying this from actual experience. After having that like joking conversation, there was like a bond amongst those people, because they were like, he is going to tell us the truth.
Yeah.
Even when we don't want it, we got it. So you know that when Brian says something, that's the word.
Yeah.
There's nothing hidden behind it. He's just going to tell you how it is. Same thing with my wife. She just knows. There is no lying. There is no wondering. There is no nothing. It's just like, all the way down to like, do you want to go here? Nope.
I want everybody to know that the word no is a full sentence sometimes.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a full sentence.
But that's, again,
it doesn't
truth.
need explained.
It's truth. And like, we were camping this weekend. My dad was tired, and he's the type of trooper that's like, he's older, and he was just like, I'm going to go fight it, and I'm going to go. And I'm like, Dad, take a nap. It's okay.
Just take a nap.
No one cares.
We all want to do it.
We love you, but we don't want you cranky. Like, don't do something for resentment. The truth is, you want to take a nap.
Yeah.
So go. Like, just be free from your truth.
Yeah. So, you know, the world is full of people who will build you up and fluff you up and tell you things. But, you know, when you got a circle of real people in your life, when you got a circle of real people in your life who don't give a shit about, you know, gassing you up and all that other stuff, and they care about you, Because I tell you what, somebody tell me the truth that I don't respect or don't like or even that I don't know. Guess what? That's going to come off a lot different than somebody in my circle saying, "Bro, hold up, what was that? What was that?"
Right.
You know, and like if I can be in a good space, I'll take a look at it. You know, so. If you got a bunch of people in your life who are just constantly gassing you up and allowing you to do dumb shit and make dumb decisions, then maybe you need to find a new circle.
Because they're lying to you. It's just, let's be real about it. They're gassing you up. They don't know the truth.
Well, the thing of it is, they could be lying because they just, maybe the people pleasers, I don't know. But regardless, that's not the type of people that's going to build you up. It's going to push you. It's going to prod you. Going to tell you that you're up, going to tell you this, going to tell you that.
That's what I mean. Like, lying to me is not calling me out on the reality of it, and you're only there to pump me up because you think that you're really pumping me up because it's making you feel better. It's just a selfish act.
Codependency.
You're not doing it for me. So you're lying to me on every different level. You're pumping me up to act like it's about me, but it's really about you. And then you're not going to call me out on my shit. You're lying to me twice. Like, I don't even want to be around you.
Choose your circle wisely, ladies and gentlemen, because, you know, if you don't have that in your life, you don't have a circle, right? You got a cage.
In my life and even in the past minutes within this podcast, we've literally witnessed what truth can do. The way it affects those around you, the way it affects, I mean, you will always remember that story because you can close your eyes right now. You could see the dude.
I can. Actually,
you know what I mean?
I've been looking at him for about 10 minutes.
Like,
he's a good looking dude, by the way.
You can remember. You can remember that because you attach such an emotion to that truth that it was like, even if his story was similar, because a lot of our stories are technically similar. We all have these struggles, and somebody can have a struggle with something totally different, but as soon as I feel the struggle, it's like, I get you.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been to Taiwan, but I get you. You know what I mean? Like, they're talking about some another country, and you're like, but I get it.
Yeah. I think somebody being real and raw with us is what we all crave and rarely get, you know, and when we do get that, we kind of latch onto that person, even though that person might piss us off because the truth hurts at first. You know?
Yeah, as it should, right? Because it exposes you.
Right.
But it's like, as soon as somebody pantses you, well, now it's out.
It's all the way
So out. I'd be just helicopter dancing to left field. Like, we're here now.
We're already past.
It's like, you've seen it. Let's just go.
Chris,
like,
can you put a helicopter sound in there for me?
Like, I'm just saying, like, just try it. Start small if you aren't comfortable with it. Just find the most trusting person and share something with them that you haven't told someone else before.
Guarantee your results are going to be a lot different, you know, when you actually are raw and you're real and you share your struggles with people that are good people. You know, you got to be careful sometimes, though. Sharing your struggles with people might come back and bite you in the ass if you're worried about, you know, depending on what it is, right? I mean, you know, your friends that you have right now, you might not have from a year. They may be your enemies. So, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, the book even talks about that as long as it wasn't to harm you or others. And, like, you got to be careful about what you air out there as long as that information doesn't involve someone else. But my information with truth is about me.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole. I'm an addict. I've got control issues. I get really angry when people drive in the left lane doing 50 miles an hour.
Oh my God!
Like these are truths about me, and I don't just make excuses about them. I'm just aware of them so that I can do something about it as it comes up. And knowing that and giving people the right to now, I've told you this, you can call me out on it, and I can't do anything about it. I'm going to get irritated, but I really can't do anything about it.
That's another one of the fears too, is if I really reveal this, and then I will be held accountable, and that's a fear
for sure.
If I reveal this to you,
now you know it, and now you have to make me a better person because of it.
It's just like my sponsor, my early sponsor, and when I would go give leads, he would say, "I'm coming to the meeting." I'd be like, "Oh, great." He said, "I'm just coming to keep you honest." I never knew what that meant.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
There is this thing that it is like, and a part of it is conquering the fear itself, right? Because it's scary up here.
Yeah.
I was so afraid. I've said this before. I don't care. When I sat down with my wife, beautiful woman, she's sitting across the table, successful. She's got her own business. She's doing well. She bought her own house. She's got her shit together. And I was like, that's scary enough. Now I'm going to tell her a list of bad things about me.
Just came out right out. He's vomited on the
You know, but
chicken
that
Parmesan.
once that was released, and I said, "But I will love you more than anybody ever could." She knew that was true, and she held on to that. I listed off 10 reasons why you shouldn't be with me. But
I wouldn't advise everybody to do this on the first day. It worked well for him because
Why not?
Because he was with the right person. But if you say this to most people on your first date, you're probably not going to get the second.
It wasn't
base.
just like she just was like, "So tell me how you got to Indiana and what's going on." And it was like, the truth is, I'm not going to be like, "Well, I just got bored one day, and so I left California to go to Indiana because I thought corn would look cool." Like, there is no other answer besides the truth.
Oh, you were back in the corner.
So it came up like that, and I just like, there really is this like, man, that was so much scarier in my head, and all she heard me say was, "But I will love you more than anybody." That's all she remembers from it, really. She couldn't list off the things that I said. The one truth that hid inside there in like the positive overpowered all of the negatives because of where it came from. And I just like, there is this ultimate freedom in that is just like, here I am. And then when someone chooses you because of that, those are the only people I want in my life.
That's what I was going to touch on too. Is like, if you scare somebody off with your truth, there you go. If they don't leave now, they're going to eventually leave anyway.
The truth always comes out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Like, subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Send this over to your buddy. They need to hear this because they are a true up.
You have to move your lips, Marty, or they know. Okay.
Love you guys. Later.